Right. Alex Stern, he's an entrepreneur, he's a speaker, he's a mentor, he's an investor. He has become known as America's startup success expert. He will tell you why. For performing hundreds of keynote speeches across the world in places like Secret Knock, which I know of, CEO Space, which I also know of, City Summit, Power Team International, with Bill Walsh, which I know of, Happy Choose Warrior, I keep forgetting his name. All of them, I know them. He's been the co-founder or founding team member of 8 startups with 5 exits, 2 IPOs, and 3 acquisitions. As a primary member of Constant Contact's founding team, Alec was one of the original 3 who started the company in an attic. Alec was with the company for 18 years, from startup to IPO to $1.1 billion acquisition. Who cares about the noise? Recently, Alec was selected to the Influence 100 Authority list by Influencer magazine and was recognized as the world's authority for entrepreneurship by The Credible Source. In 2020, Alec was a 2-time Visionary Award winner at top conferences for success and entrepreneurship for his working and helping startups and entrepreneurs succeed. In 2021, he was awarded he was an award of excellence keynote speaker recipient at a top speaking academy. Welcome to Global Champion Summit, Mr. Alec Stern.
Drum roll or drilling. We have a choice. Yeah.
We don't care. They could carry on drilling. Let them drill away. Alec, all of that to the IPO, 1.1 billion acquisition, to being recognized, to the influences, to funding startups. Where did this all, was it a passion of you to help with startups? Do you like startups? Do you like the stress that with startups? I mean, come on, talk to us.
Yeah, my mom was an entrepreneur growing up, so she had a small business, and I often helped her with things. So I got a little bit of a taste of that, and we were provided for, but if you wanted something extra, you had to go and make the money yourself and buy it yourself. So I just learned how to be an entrepreneur at an early age. And when I got out of college, I went to big business, and someone 8 levels above me in a large company said, I'm going to be a founder of a startup. Come with me. And so I had about $4 million of business I was about to book. And so I was like, what do I do? So I asked him more questions, and he said, well, I can't guarantee you can have a job in 6 months, or I can't guarantee I can even pay you in 6 months. Wow. But if this thing takes off, it's going to be big. So I stayed 3 months thinking about it, closing some of the business. Then I called and said, I want to come. So I actually jumped in, and 5 years to the day from my joining, we went public, and that company sold as well. So that wasn't Constant Contact. I've had some other successes.
Gosh.
And so I got a taste of it and said, how do I do more of it? And so I went on to going earlier and earlier and earlier, starting businesses and co-founding companies and founding team member, et cetera. And so I just got the bug and loved that. A lot of stuff I did was helping small businesses, which is in my DNA, to help small businesses. So that was the kind of the story of my day job, if you will. But then outside of that, I wanted to always pay it forward and do speaking and try to empower startups and entrepreneurs, and small businesses with some of the early days lessons learned and stuff like that. So.
Well, tell us, what are some of those early day lessons learned that small businesses need to avoid? What do you teach them?
Yeah, so there's some to avoid and others to do. I mean, the bottom line is, one of the first things, and a lot of folks speak of this, but we're always working in the business. We're on the hamster wheel day to day with all the tactics, but we don't often step back and invest in ourselves and look and work on the business, the strategy, and help investing in ourselves and the business. And so exactly like you're doing here, this amazing summit with all these incredible, Class A speakers, this is an investment in yourself and in your business. You're going to hear from others who have been there and done it and have succeeded at it or failed at it or are willing to share, those golden nuggets. So the first thing is that you've got to invest in yourself. And if you go somewhere to a summit, you're sitting here today, don't step away to take that call. Don't, walk out of the room, when we're physically in a room at a conference, be present. You've got to sit there and you got to be listening to everyone. You've got to absorb it and not, just let the day-to-day get in your way. So that's the biggest mistake everyone makes.
But Alex, so many small businesses feel as if they need, they don't feel as if they can step away and to learn more. They feel as if they have to be in the business on that hamster wheel, keeping things ticking over. I mean, you've invested in startups, you've built startups, you've sold startups. Why is that such a danger for small businesses?
Yeah, and so I mean, there's a broader answer first that like, what are you good at, right? Stay in your lane. Like, we always think that we have to be the general store, owner and wear all the hats and do all the things. There's such an opportunity cost for you to invest time in something that's not in your wheelhouse, where you could do double the success and effort in something that is in your wheelhouse. And so we often say, well, I've got to be there and I have so much to do and we need a website. I got to learn the website tool. I got to build a website. Find a fractional web developer, a VA, an intern, someone in college studying, web development, and find someone to do that work. They'll do it in half the time. It'll be twice as good, and for half the money of your investment and the opportunity cost of not doing what you're good at. And I think we all sit there and say we've got to do, when I first got out of college, I didn't have any money. I had to borrow money to buy suits to go to my first job. And I had to borrow a car to drive there, and I had to get a couple paychecks to like just get going. And the first thing I did is I hired a maid. And so I just had everyone say to me, "You're crazy. Are you kidding me? Just clean your own place." And I was like, "No, the 4 hours is going to take me probably 6 hours because I'm not good at it. But the 6 hours it would take me to clean my place, I can invest those 6 hours in what I'm good at.
Absolutely.
Get a lot more out of it." And so it's using the sort of the mindset to say, staying in your lane and focus on what you're good at and bring in others. And that can also be full-time people or co-founders or, folks that are in another lane that the 1 and 1 equals 3 of you bringing in some other folks.
So Polly says, she's in the UK. Polly says, Alec, at what point in a startup do you know if a business is going to be successful?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and it also aligns with the question of I get every day. What do you think of my idea? What do you think of our? What do you think of our app? What do you think of it? My answer, first and foremost, to anyone asking questions around this is go ask your target market. As early and often, you need to be in front of your target market. You identify who they are. You go to them, and by the way, you don't go to family. Because if I go to my mom and say, "Hey, mom, I'm starting a new company," it's like, "Oh, honey, I'm so proud of you. It's going to be a big success." If I go to friends, they're going to be like, they're just going to yes you and like, "Oh, that sounds great." Go to people you don't know, who you haven't done business with, that you have no relationship with, and get brutal, honest feedback.
Yeah.
Right. And when they tell you, they get all wide-eyed and tell you that not only would they use it, that they'd pay for it. Like, is this something that would help you? And so you once you hear that, then when you get all the no's that you're going to get, which they're going to be many, you know you're onto something. And so I know something is successful when the target market is telling me that that this could really help my business, and they're going to give you the roadmap of what they want. So when you go up to someone you don't know who's in your target market, you want to ask questions first. What's your goals? What's your vision? Where do you see the business in 3 years? What do you have that you want more of? What don't you have that you wish you had? Do you want to save money? Do you want to save time? Do you want to increase revenue? Do you want to nurture and engage your customers? Like, they'll tell you what they want. And then if we can provide you X and it will do Y, would that be of interest to you? And they say yes. Is this something you see yourself paying for? Yes. Then you're onto something. And then all those no's and all the distractions of people trying to knock you down.
Yes.
And even some of your friends. I learned some friends that were jealous of, like, oh, wow, he's starting another business. And they would just give me feedback just to knock me down.
Wow.
So they're
look, this is so good because, I mean, come on, everybody here that is a business owner to an extent of some sort. They're a business owner, right? And you're hearing a gentleman saying to you, He's built multiple businesses, sold multiple businesses, IPO, and then to 1.1 billion acquisition. You guys better come up with some questions. Like, you better seriously come up with some startup questions for this month, because I've got so many and I don't want to keep asking. I want to hear from you. You've got to ask these questions today, because this is a big deal. My God, Alec, I'm going to wait for one question, but I want to ask before somebody types in something here. Now, in that whole small business arena, that whole small business realm, okay, what is it that people do to actually become successful? It's all well, I hear you say, okay, go to people, what, they want to buy, and then yes, you start selling. There must be some system. There must be something. I mean, the average person don't do what you've done. Why is it that you were able to do this?
Yeah, so I want to clarify one thing, because you're saying I, and it's not an I story, it's a we story. So I never, so the African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Yes. I don't do anything alone. And so in all of those businesses, we brought in people to cover some of the lanes that none of us were expert in. We brought in an amazing management team. We had major investors, amazing board, amazing partners, customers, employees, like, the list goes on. So this is a we story. Yeah. Nothing is ever me. And there are a lot of solopreneurs that, I look up to, and I have several in my, that I've come across, and some as of late, that I'm really, really blown away with how much they accomplished, and in one in particular, woman in business, who's accomplished so much by herself. And I'm just like, wow, I've never done that. I look up to that, and there are many successful solopreneurs that have done that. But the bottom line is that it's truly a we story, and bringing in the right people is an accelerator point. One of the secret sauce things in growing your business, I'll ask any business, you're having great success, what are your goals in this business? Some are to create a family business, to create a legacy, to be able to provide for the family and have some of those extra things, get that summer home or a boat or whatever. Yes. That is success to them. And we need to applaud and cheer them on, because we often get in the mindset of, well, are you going to raise money, and are you looking to go public? Are you going to have an acquisition? Like, there's success in business that sometimes doesn't go down the path we often think of as entrepreneurs. And that's fine. And we should support it. And guess what? That's the lifeblood of most economies around the world, are those small businesses. So with that being said, if you're on the other side of the house and you want to, accelerate growth, you got to take in funding, because your revenue is not going to support growth quickly. Right? The flywheel of your business takes time. So you got to go and take some investment in, and a lot of options there. And then, of course, once you've taken in investments and they're owners in the business, they're going to want to drive it to some sort of an exit. That's where you're going with it. They don't care about a family-run business at that point. They want to see this thing grow. So I will ask most startups and small businesses, where's the scale in your business? And they can't answer that. And the answer is not, well, unless you're an enterprise solution at $100,000 cost point, it's not hire 100 salespeople. There has to be another answer. And in all of the cases where I've seen the success in the businesses I've been involved with, scale has been channels, partnerships, affiliates, strategic alliances. There's all kinds of success in finding the channel, which is where your target customer is hanging out through other intermediaries. And there's one-to-many scenarios versus a one-to-one. Walking down Main Street, calling on small businesses doesn't scale. Yes. Working through other intermediaries that have amassed a lot of small businesses that work with them, follow them, trust them. That's a scale. That's a tipping point for scale.
This is so much. Like, I know some of you can listen to, I can listen to you all day. This is so good. Lewis says, what advice would you give a young entrepreneur going into a service-based industry?
Yeah, so any age entrepreneur, if you're onto something, first of all, don't be an also-ran. These are my stats. 85% of all businesses are an existing product or service that's in market that just is not being executed on well. And so someone's saying it could be done better. So if you're an entrepreneur who sees something in a product or service, if the service delivered this way or the product had these features, and you go out and test that and show differentiation, you need to be telling in your branding and your story differentiation. Not here's how, we just do it a little better than them. No one cares about that. They want to see that you're different and you're potentially playing on a different playing field than them. So those 85%, if you're doing a product or service, differentiate and prove that differentiation is worth value for people to switch costs to move from what they're using today.
Wait, hold on. This is too good. This is too good. Guys, are you enjoying this? Somebody comment and tell me, are you enjoying this? This is so good. Polly says, what deals do you pass on that you wish you hadn't? Why did you pass?
Yeah. So I want to answer the second part of the first question. I'll come to that. For the young entrepreneur product or service, right? That's 85% are existing and they're just doing it, differentiating, doing it differently, right? The second is the 15% is something brand new. So you're not even on the same playing field as anyone else. You're doing something brand new. And I've done that a few times. So now you're creating a category that, and then you promoting your brand. You're not just promoting a brand and differentiation. That's a little bit more complex. And we have a lot of examples. Constant Contact is one, Airbnb, Facebook, Google, et cetera. So those are all examples of something brand new, and with differentiation. So as far as looking at deals, I'm not as active in deals, doing deals myself. I am part of a venture fund where we do tech investments on the East Coast here, G20 Ventures, which I'm a limited partner in. And so I don't ever regret passing on something. I have a lot of people in my life that have said no to me for investing in things I'm doing, who kick themselves every time I see them. Like, oh, we let that one. I love it when they say we let that one go. We let that one go. That was a mistake. I'm like, no, you kicked us out of your office free and said this isn't fundable. So it's just funny how they react today after you do this, right? So there are those examples, but the things I would just say I'm diligent about investing or not investing, and if not investing, telling people why. And oftentimes there's just some it's not set up for success in some way. So for example, you're a founder and you take in two others and there's three co-founders. Great, that's great. Are they in different lanes? Hopefully. But then I'll ask who's in charge, like we all are. We're all co-CEOs. I'm like, that's not gonna fly. Who's the one person in charge, right? And so I'll ask them questions. What do you do? Well, I'm external. Okay, CEO. What do you do? I do a lot of operations, COO. What do you do? I'm technical, CTO. Would you see that you guys are kind of in those lanes?
Yes.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm like, then who's in? So the one who's external, are they in charge? If someone says, who's the one CEO with this business on their forehead, who is that person? They're like, all of us. That's not going to, no one's going to fund if there's not one person responsible.
Let's stay right there. You said something there really powerful. I'm going back to what you said. Okay. You talked about the funding in order to scale, but then if people are going to fund, they need to see that whole management system, team, everybody that's in their lane doing what they should be doing. Why is it then that so many small businesses, there is no differentiation as far as all of that is concerned?
Differentiation in the offering or
no, in the office, who's doing what, who's responsible for what?
Right, because there's no clear lines of what lane people are in, right? So just if we had the analogy of a highway, who's in the fast lane, and all the lanes are fast lanes, just for this example, but who's in the fast lane on the left, who's the three middle lanes, and then the right lane. Like, people have to be in those lanes, and there's a lot of crossover. Well, we have three people that are, we're all external. We're all working external. Well, who's minding the farm on operations, and who's minding the farm on the technology, and and branding and marketing and what. So the bottom line is the founding team, there needs to be clear lines of delineation.
Yes.
Everyone must be title agnostic. I don't care what your title is. Everyone wants chief in their title. Chief operating, chief this, chief that. My next title, by the way, is going to be EIEIO.
Why am I not surprised?
So on my card, it's just going to say EIEIO.
Yeah, what is Alex Stern, EIEIO?
Right. And
Oh,
so that's one of the kind of those issues that I see sort of early on. The second is a passion meter, right? So there's how passionate everyone is about the idea. And sometimes you can go a little bit too far into the red of the passion meter because you'll go down with the ship because no matter what, we're horse blinders on. We're doing it this way. And we're gonna hook or crook, it's gonna succeed. And as the ship is sinking, they're still gonna stay in that lane of the. Now, so they have to be able to receive feedback from all aspects. And feedback's a gift, take it or leave it. But you're hearing from your customers, your partners, your investors, your mentors, all the people in your world, and you have to be open to it. And some say, look, I used to be my target market. I know what they need. Well, you don't know what they need today because you're not in that today. And the bottom line is you got to go out and seek that feedback early and often. And so there's not enough of that going out and testing this. So we got to be close to the vest. We got to stay in stealth mode. We can't share.
This is so good, Alec. This is so good. Oh my God. All right, guys, listen. You listen. If you want Alec to stay on, you've got to say. I've got one more question, and I want everybody to answer. How many of you would like to hear a lot more from Alec today? You want, because you want. From Alec. How many of you want to hear a lot more from Alec today? Because I can switch things around just so that you can hear more and you can ask more questions. And more importantly, you could reach out to him and say, I run a small business, I'm in a mess, and I need your help. How many of you are in that space right now? Comment. I need to get at least 20 people commenting. Otherwise, we're just going to go on to the next speaker and you're not going to hear from Alec anymore. So come on, enjoying the boss man. Donna, you need to get in touch with Alec. Donna says she loves it. Lewis says this guy is the kind of business I could listen to all day.
You're sweet.
Oh, come on, guys. I need at least 20 people responding that you want Alec to carry on, and I will stay and we will sort of switch things around slightly because this is good. This is like really good. Martina says, absolutely good. Awesome advice. Come on, guys. I need a few more. I know some of you driving. Anita says, please do. Anita. Alec. Right. Another question, Alec. While people are responding, would be great to connect with Alec. How can I reach him? Good. He's going to tell you in a minute. Right. Alec. Somebody else. Yes. Virginia says, thanks. Yes, thanks. Virginia, you need to reach out to Alec. She runs a popcorn business in the US. And where are you, Virginia? Virginia, where are you in the US? You need to tell Alec. Tell him where you are in the US. Come on, type in there and reach out to him because I think he would really help your popcorn business get to the next level.
Did you say popcorn?
Popcorn. She's in Burlington. Where is IN?
Bloomington, Indiana.
Indiana. So come on, you need to reach out to Alec today. Who else is saying something? Denise says, I'm driving, but stop to say I love it. Fantastic.
Yeah, so she's in Bloomington, Indiana. She should partner with Oliver Winery. So you're drinking wine and eating popcorn.
Oh my God, like seriously, Virginia, did you hear that? Virginia, like you hear that? Alec is gonna connect you with some people. Okay, he's gonna, she said, they have.
There you go.
So there is more. Come on, guys. Wow, this is good. Okay, one quick question and then Alec will carry on. Oh, we'll change things around, Alec will carry on. Right. What did she say now? Polly says, no, Polly, wait, I've got a question before yours. I don't want to forget. Hold on. I got a question. Right. Lewis, I think it's Polly. Polly, it's you. Do you think that the basic principles of a successful business have changed over time?
I think perception of what people think, success looks like, it has changed. What we expect, our expectations, when people are delivering, exceptional service or we see a business is successful, we don't want them to meet our expectations. We want them to exceed our expectations. I think over time, we've just gotten accustomed on the receiving end to want more. But I think the principles of success, of starting a business, growing a business, running it, I don't think they've changed, except it's a lot easier to do it today than before. There are a lot of systems and operationalizing things that are easy to plug into businesses today that we didn't have in the past. There's a lot of things that have sort of set the sort of that course and the path for making things easier. So success can be easier by adding in a lot of tools and resources that you didn't have before.
So Polly also says that she's in the UK. We are a small business that does what a lot of other businesses do, IT related. How do we look bigger than we are and reach more customers in a credible way?
Oh, I love it. So the first thing is one of my sort of pillars for achieving success is look big, act big, become big. And so look big, act big, become big. Look big is, and a lot of this is around perception.
Yeah.
So I will ask at a conference, show of hands, how many of you in your business have an email account for your business or for you that ends in Gmail, Hotmail, Yahoo, maybe even AOL or something way in the past? And half the room raises their hand.
Ooh.
How serious can someone take you in your business if you can't spend the $5 for a branded email address to your domain? That's like, there's some basic things that we're not doing. Yeah. You have a logo, you have your colors. We want to get on the phone or we want to go see someone and just chit chat. Twitter and other tools of, or apps have, got us, small snippets of information. Put your best foot forward. Create a 5-slide deck about you, who we are, what we do, what makes us unique, what our customers are saying, and how we might work together. And you create these 5 slides and you ask at the start of a meeting, I just create a couple slides to frame the conversation. Would you mind if I kick off the conversation with those slides? They say yes. So you do that. Now you're professionalizing your look and it's branded and really simple 5 slides to frame the conversation. And then when you're done with the call, you save it as a PDF and send it to them so they can refer to it, share it, and not play the telephone game. You said something, they heard it a different way, they tell someone else, and they're like, we don't need that. Now you've put your best foot forward. Now you're gonna get on a second call or a second meeting, and it's with the team and say, well, I know we shared the deck. And just to level set, do you mind if I kick off the call sharing those 5 slides? And so the bottom line is they say yes. And again, you're putting your best foot forward. They don't have to know that this is your first call of this kind or your first meeting of this kind. You're professionalizing what you do. Brand yourself, a shirt with your logo, pens with your logo. So you look big,
right there.
Step and repeat behind you that has your logo. Right? Whatever that takes, right? It professionalizes. So if you're looking big, then now you're acting big, it's going to help you become big.
Ooh.
I've had several folks.
Somebody need to tweet that out now. Tag Alec on it. Alec Stern on. You find him on Twitter. You need to tag him and you need to tell the world what he just shared, because that is gold right there. Tag him somewhere. Post him out. Take a screenshot and tell everybody you need to listen to Alec. Reach out to him. Come on, guys. That is gold. Gold, guys. Gold. Come on, guys. We want to hear more. We want to hear from you. Come on. That's him on IG. And also, Alec, you need to send it to panelists and attendees. I'll copy it. I'll copy it to everybody. Yeah. So reach out to him now and send a quick message. Tweet it out. Hashtag Global Champion Summit. Say you're listening to Alec Stern and I'm taking that one. Let me tell you. Look big, act big, become.
Yeah, that's one of my pillars for success.
How many of you got questions? Come on, Alec is staying with us. I'm going to switch things around because you guys want to hear him. Post your questions in. This is good. This is good. This is really.
I'll add one last thought here. So a lot of things are perception, right? So if you're looking big, perception is you are big. I remember we were at one of the businesses that we were at a conference and we couldn't afford anything, so we just paid. We just went into the free exhibit hall. And there's three or four of us working with branded shirts. We had pens, and we're walking down the aisles. And that week we happened to bring on some interns. And so someone said, you guys are big, huh? I'm like, we doubled in size this week.
What?
Well, they didn't know that it was 4 of us plus we added 4 interns, right? We doubled in size. We have 8 people now, right? It's all perception.
Andrew, my husband would say, Alec, they would say, oh my God, you guys are doing so well. What's the secret? And my husband, Andrew, would say, you can keep a secret? Well, so can I.
That's it.
Yes, I
So,
love
so
it.
one other thing that we struggle with is we hesitate. So I would ask a show of hands, and people could put it in the comments. How many of you have a strategic partner, a strategic customer, investor, mentor that you want to reach out to, but you're hesitant? You're like, oh, we can't yet. Our website's not done, or we got to change our marketing messaging, or redo this, or the product needs that, or we always have all the excuses and we're hesitant.
Yeah.
So the energy that you have when you're hesitant, someone will feel through the phone or in person. So for example, if you're hesitant and someone hands you a baby, what happens?
Yes.
Baby cries.
Yes.
You're hesitant. You're like, I don't want to hold this baby. It cries, right? If you go to pet a dog, it looks away. So what do you have to get yourself fired up and psyched and motivated to take that, to make that call or go see them, right? So you can go for a walk, go for a run, meditate, do yoga, call a loved one, hug a loved one, or in my case, sing to your favorite song.
Well, we don't know if you can sing. If you don't mind singing for us here, then we could believe.
I will
How many
not.
of you want to hear Alex sing? Come on, guys, you got to come on quickly.
Not going to happen. But I have on my watch, I'm an ambassador for Craig Shelley watches. They gave me this beautiful watch, and it's engraved right here, "Don't Stop Believing" from Journey.
Oh.
And that's my mantra. Like, I sing that song to get fired up. I just got the chills. So I get fired up, and then you make that call or you go have that meeting, right?
Ken, listen, Ken is listening. He's our next speaker. Listen to this, Alec. Ken is listening. He's our next speaker. Ken, would you like to have Alex speak at your next event? He is awesome, isn't he? Oh my God. Ken, he said yes.
All right, there we go.
You're going to be speaking at his next event. Yay. He's giving you the link.
There it is. There it is.
Speak at his next event.
So the bottom line is, so now you're fired up and you have a good call or a good meeting. And I'll ask folks, what do you do next? And everyone's like, celebrate. I'm like, no, make another call.
Yes.
Another meeting.
Yes.
Keep that energy alive. And then at the end of the day, celebrate.
Keep the momentum going. Keep the momentum going until Jim Rome says, how long is until? Until. Right. Keep going.
That's right.
I love it. Ken, do you want to jump in? Like, no, wait, hold on. Louis got a question. Two more. Ken, if you want to jump in, tell me, and I'll just jump in I'll put you on as a panelist, Ken, if you want to jump in and just, this is good. Yeah. Look, Louis says, how do you appear big as one person? I currently am my business. However, I want to expand as soon as possible.
Yeah, so I'm a huge fan of interns. I think our record for one of the companies we were involved with, we had 40 interns.
What?
40 interns. Like and I believe in paying them. You got to pay them, and show value. And everyone's like, well, I can do the internship for free. And then I don't want someone who's going to be lazy. I want someone who's going to be motivated. So you pay them hourly and you get them, working on all different things. And so you are alone as a solopreneur, but you can wrap resources around you. You should have a VA or someone that's going to do a lot of the admin tasks. You should have a bookkeeper. You should have. So
what when they say, okay, hold on. Yeah, you're saying that is all well and good. You're saying that. And in their minds, they're thinking, how the heck am I going to pay for all of this?
Right. But again, we said it earlier, the opportunity cost of you doing all these things and not what you're good at. If you're good at being out there, working the clients and the relationships and landing new business, if you're going to spend 10 hours on something that's not in your lane, that's gonna probably take you 20 to do it. What you can do in 10 in your lane and have more success and land new clients. So it's always dividing and conquering and finding resources to back you up in areas that are not in your wheelhouse.
So it's a no-brainer. You have no choice if you want to grow.
Yes.
My God, listen, you got to get this, man. Guys, listen, we do things differently here on the summit. Let me tell you. Ken is supposed to come on after, but he's there and he's fired up. So I tell him, just come on. Ken, this man needs to be at your summit, man. At your conference. My God.
Yes. Alec, good to see you again, my friend.
Yes, good to see you as well. I didn't see the last name, but it's good to see you.
Yeah, we've been in several clubhouse rooms with Marissa Friedman and some joint friends. Dave Meltzer. Dave's actually speaking at my event in Vegas. Alec, here's what I would ask you. A great question, I think, for everybody watching today is, do you have some kind of an ebook or something that talks about how you can develop an internship program?
Yeah,
I don't. It's a great question. I'm really literally just working on putting out a 90-day success plan ebook, and then there'll be a bigger book, full book. It's a brief, and then there'll be a full book behind it. So I'm working on some stuff now, but I'm trying to weave in some things around the internship model. But so again, you don't have to go it alone. There are some great resources, and I've tapped a couple that go and find you the perfect intern, right? So you don't have to be, you can go to your local schools, you can talk to the business. I'm in Boston, so there's 75 colleges in a 50-mile radius. So,
Wow.
You can go to all the business schools and, post things up, or there's an internship office that can help guide you and, and get you the right resources. So I've had, in the last year, I had three that were active till they all went back to school at the same time.
Yeah.
But
do you do anything special for them, Alec? Like, obviously everybody knows who you are. Camilita, I didn't mean to come over. I didn't mean to come in and play podcast host.
Hey, listen, you go ahead, man. You just go ahead. I'm loving it.
Do you do anything special? Like when you offer your internship program, is it, hey, you get time with Alec Stern? I'm going to walk you through this. Like, these are some things I'm going to make sure when you leave this internship, you're going to be better equipped than any other internship program that you could be a part of.
Yeah. So I treat interns like a co-founder or an employee, right? So they're not just on the side doing tasks. Like we allow them to come in, they go to strategy meetings. We get to spend some one-on-one time. They're just treated like everyone else. They're part of the team. And so I've never hired even a contract resource to keep them aside. Like, we'll just come to you when we have another need. If they don't really kind of understand they're not in the culture. Delight the customers, one of our core values in every business I've been in. Like, if they're not feeling that, then they're not going to be, really motivated to work that extra to make sure what they're doing delights the customer. They're just going to check a tactical box to create something and send it over. So they get that time, and also they get the reference. It's goal to be able to get a reference. Like, here's this startup that I joined this startup when there was like 4 people, and now they got funded, and now they have this and they have that, and they get to say they were part of that success, and they're on the founding team, of as an intern.
Amazing. This is wow. Ken, you need to listen. You're gonna be speaking at Ken's next event. Let me tell you.
All right. Well, we have to. We'll talk offline.
Most definitely. I appreciate
that. Indeed. Right. Questions, guys. Questions. This is so good. Donna says you're awesome. I love the think big method. It takes you out of the box. What are the key areas in your business you spend most of your time? That's a good question.
Yeah, so I know to stay in my lane. As this is the one that I gotta be just as good of a teacher as I am a doer. So I stay in my lane, and my lane is around everything in the go-to-market, right? So first coming up with the branding. Sometimes it's coming up with the name, the tagline, helping with the logo, bringing in the right resources. I've got a CMO, Michelle Kimball.
Yes.
Who's been with me. She was the first hire in Constant Contact, stayed 10 years, and every business I've started since has been with me to help on the marketing side. So I have a team. Of people that I'll bring into the fold, each time. But I'm all about the go-to-market, the channel strategy, the growth strategy, the investment deck, the branding, naming. Like the Constant Contact name, everyone's like, well, did you spend millions with a big agency to come up with that? I'm like, no. In a conversation, I said, our customers need to stay in constant contact with their customers. Like, constant contact. Bam, let's go. So I mean, you work with it. I have others where I've come up with the names of the tagline, and it just if you got to come up with a name of the business that describes what you do, that's a home run.
Okay, let me ask this question then.
A tagline to it, 5 words or 3 impact words or a statement of 5.
That's what people will remember.
Yeah.
Ken and I was talking about this yesterday, and I'm sure this is going to help so many people. Guys, you've got questions? Please, Alec is going to be with us for a little bit, so just keep asking a question, and then we're going to hear from Ken. Ken and I was talking about this yesterday. Okay, you've built all of these brands. You sold all of these brands. You've done IPOs, 1.1 billion, this and that. What about, how does somebody actually go about selling? what do they need to have in place? We were talking about this yesterday.
All right. So great question. Again, it's a we, not an I. So we had amazing teams that were involved all the way through, coming in the earliest days. Once we got funding, we started building that team and an amazing management team. And I stayed in my lane, finding new pockets of opportunity and channels and all kinds of things that I was good at. So the bottom line is, you've got, so you might find, so you might, like, I never look at, I don't do things for an exit. I do things because I'm passionate about the target market and I want to do something. I want to make sure we're doing something that's going to help them succeed. Right. So if you do that and you're passionate about it, you wake up every day and you rush to your office or to your computer because you want to do more to help that target market. So that you have to be passionate about them. And one of your core values must be delight the customer, and everyone in the business has to wear that hat. We're not just checking boxes, getting stuff done. We're doing it because this is best for them. Yeah. And we're going to also ask them, and we're going to take their feedback and empower them to say, hey, we listened. And now we're doing this for you. So the bottom line is you have to have the mindset that you're going to succeed. And as you're building the business, then there's things that are required. You've got to operationalize things. You have to be able to bring in other people. We always say, no one could sell it as good as me, or no one can tell the story as good as me. You know what? Tell the story to someone else and let them put their spin on it. I bet you're going to find it's better than yours. Yeah. Right, from a different perspective. So you've got to release things and get new people in the mix, and then start to operationalize and put systems in place. And then you're going to go out and you're going to find strategic alliances, partnerships. Sometimes those partnerships will want to invest. Yeah. The one thing to be cautious of, do they have a hidden agenda? Are they trying to take your idea and kind of morph it and move it to something else? I'll tell you just one example of one of the companies we started. We had no money. And we had hired people, and we're like, how are we going to make payroll? Strategic partner comes along, says, we're going to give you $250,000 to partner. And we just want to do some minor tweaking to the offering. Like, okay, what does that mean? So we analyze it, and they were going to take us kind of really on not the lane we're in. We're going to go on another highway for a little while, but then we could come back. And so we're sitting there like, make payroll and take this money, or like change our strategy, in the mix. So what do you think we did? Did we take the money or no?
No.
We didn't. Now that could have solved a lot of problems quickly, but we didn't, because we were going to stay the course with our focus to help our target market. And so you could find these partnerships. You just have to be careful. There's not a hidden agenda. Same with investment. Make sure they don't have a hidden agenda. Hey, if we buy this company, we can merge it with this other failing company and now maybe get some success out of this. Like, you've got to just make sure everyone's buying into your strategy, staying the course that you're on, and then just to grow the business. And when you least expect it, someone's going to walk up and say, you know what, we love what you're doing. Yeah. We can operationalize this even better. We can scale it. We have the resources to take this bigger. Are you open to acquisition? And my fastest acquisition was 9 months. We had a great idea.
Ken, we got a lot of work to do.
9 months. We had a great idea. We had an amazing development team. We had a great strategy. We showed the path, but we weren't going to be able to get there without help. Yes. We had a strategic partner that was willing to give us some money to help us. And then they said, you know what, we want to buy you. So I was out because they didn't need me on the front end. I consulted for a while and helped them on the strategy as we saw it, but they had a whole team, they had a whole machine. I'm like, that's good. I'm good. I'll walk away. So you just, when you least expect it, you've got to be out there and you're going to attract the right people that would potentially, come along.
Ken, isn't he good?
Oh, he's amazing. I mean,
don't put him on the spot. Yeah.
I'm sitting here on Alec's website looking at, all the businesses.
He's watching what you're doing.
In his bio. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, like, literally, I'm like, what am I doing on this panel again? Why am I here?
No, listen, everyone has a seat at this table.
Indeed, darling.
Well, and I tell you the one thing that I love about Alec, being on Clubhouse Rooms with him, obviously with Sharon and Lecter and Greg Reed and a lot of, real Sharon, obviously she's a mentor to myself and Camilita. being around some of those people. The one DNA thread that I love about Alec, whether it be on a call like this or whether it be in a clubhouse room, is the humility that he operates in.
That's it.
Humility that he operates in, and people are drawn to humility. People are drawn to you. You kept talking about it earlier, dude. You were talking about passion. Like when you're selling it, man, you've got to bring it. There's that passion, but it really is interwoven with such an intentional humility. That is just because when you look at guys, when you look at someone like Alec or Sharon, like I've got Sharon's book sitting right here on the floor next to me, Exit Rich, when you look at somebody like that and you
great testimonial in there from a guy named Alec.
I know that. That's exactly right. And but when you sense that humility, not only does it make you drawn to and you want to listen to the story, but I'll tell you another thing it does. It makes you go, dude, I can do that.
Listen, if
I can do that. Like I can do that.
So,
and
I love what you're saying. And so the one thing I said to myself, if I ever get asked to keynote an event or speak, because I used to go to events and you could never get to the speaker, they get whisked away, or they're speaking at like a place that I feel I like, how would I ever get there? Wow. They want to talk about the growth and the billions and the this and the that.
Wow.
I go back. I always say I'm going to go back to the first couple of years in the early days, put myself in your shoes. So that's what I do. I put myself in the shoes of the people in the audience, so that you could see the path to how to get there, and not like, let me just tell you all the great stuff. Like you tell that story, like how it finished, and then you come back and say, okay, let's go back to the beginning. What are those early days lessons learned? What are those for achieving success? And so all that can do is just empower everyone in that room to say, okay, that's something I used to do and I should do again. That's something I never did, but sounds good. I should add that in. And it's just getting their mind thinking about, because there's a lot of stuff's repeatable, right? So it gets their mind thinking about like, okay, this is just a path to success. And so you present that and everyone is at the level playing field at that point to now it's an execution play.
But what Ken is saying, that's a real skill, because most of them that are up there that haven't even done a half of what you've done have a big ego with it.
Right. Now you can't.
Well,
I never would be that person. Yeah.
I tell you another thing Alex said just a minute ago that's a telltale sign of him walking in humility. Because he mentioned how many companies has your CMO help you start, Alec?
Wow. So between the ones myself and then the ones that I'm on the board of that she jumped in and helped. So 7.
Yeah. So, I mean, that says a lot right there. And, we talk about my good friend, Brandon Dawson, and who also is, somebody that Sharon mentored him. Brandon sold his company, for 151 million in 16. And then after the 3-year, contract period was up, his entire C-suite team left and helped him start Cardone Ventures with Grant. And so when you see that, it is a sign of humility, and someone who really, Alec, I think probably, at your age, I'm 52. At my age, I'm already thinking legacy. Like, how am I leaving, what I've done and my thumbprint on other people so that they can go be successful and win at levels they've never even imagined before.
I'm 47 and I'm doing this summit to help everybody else. So
and you both are helping everyone else, which is great.
Oh my God, guys, come on. Daryl says humility maximizes opportunity.
I like it. Drop the mic.
Drop the mic for that. Polly is so glad. She said, I'm glad you mentioned hidden agendas.
Dropping it.
Would you say small and integral to your beliefs? She said,
sorry?
Polly says, I'm glad you mentioned hidden agendas. Would you say small and integral to your beliefs? Or would you, are you focused on being sort of humble, or is it about not getting, I'm trying to paraphrase what she's saying here. Is it focused on sort of your goal, your integral beliefs, or is it about the money? Which is it?
Yeah. So as I said, I don't. Money is a kind of an outcome of a success factor of what you're doing. So I don't believe in playing small. So I would say small is not a word I use, but you start small and you got to figure out your path for growth, or you set your growth level.
Yes.
You set the level you want to go to, and you set your goals. And, I asked in the last 18 months, probably 500 people, what's your 3-year vision? And then we pushed on the 3-year vision a bit, and finally got them to be honest with me and say, or what you're working on today, is it on the path to get you to that 3-year vision and the goals you've set? And half said no. So you either have to change that vision, or you got to change what you're doing, because you're not on that path. And so,
It's right here for me.
Yeah.
Ken, we talked about this yesterday. And it's written out as clear as day.
Right, but you have to do every day. You have to do something toward that.
Indeed.
And you have to be honest with yourself. Did I do something today toward that? And then you also need to celebrate the small wins all day long. What small things have you done? Even if you work for yourself, get a bell. And when you do something that was amazing or getting you closer to that vision, ring the bell. Like you've got to get accustomed to celebrating every day and smallest things. Because we could have this long-term view of something and just sit here and say, I don't even know how I'm ever going to get there. But you got to get it there one day at a time, one action at a time, all day long, right? So I think if you want to operate small, then you just have to establish what your goal is to where you want to be, and you'll when you achieve it, you've had success. So it doesn't matter. It's not, and some people may measure it by money, like I wanted this level of income or this much money per month, or I don't look at things that way. I look at, again, back to if I can help another X of my target market this month or this year.
But where did this come from, Alec? Because we talked about this yesterday, Ken and I. The average person doesn't think like that. They want to make money. They want to live. They want to enjoy. They want to do this. Why is that so? And I probably, this is what Polly was talking about. You're grounded. What caused you to be so grounded?
Yeah. So my whole career has really been successful around the channel strategy, right? So you're working through others. And if you have a mindset about money, if you're sitting there signing an agreement with somebody about money, and there may be a delay in the launch of it, or there may be, maybe it goes sideways for a little while. You're like, this thing's not worth it to me. I'm out.
Yes.
But so you're not going to necessarily give opportunities a chance and right the ship and work with them to truly find like the inflection point of success with that partnership. If your mindset is money, that won't happen. If your mindset is around jointly working on the goals of helping your target market who happens to be tied to them, and working through those things, the money will come. But you will be short-sighted in opportunity, and you'll be closed-minded to things when it starts to go sideways. And I some of the partnerships that I thought would do a lot did nothing, and some that I expected to do nothing did a lot, and others we had to sort of have that sit down and have the heart-to-heart that it's not working and right the ship. A lot of things you would just let go if you were just focused on money.
And I would love to ask you a question, Alec. You talked about celebration earlier. And one of the things that I've learned from different people is really practicing and making sure that woven in your culture of your business is that celebration, core value or celebration DNA. What are some of the things that you would advise, or some of the things you did to be able to get that culture of celebration woven throughout your companies?
Yeah. And so this is there's a lot of things that weave into this, but the couple of key ones are that everyone's equal, right? Titles aside, everyone's equal, open door policy. If you're working on something that's not contributing to the success of our customers, raise your hand. If you're rushing to meet a deadline because there's an imposed deadline for development that this thing must be done by 2 weeks from now, and you're maybe feeling like, okay, to make the deadline, I got to cut a couple corners, but I can do it. And maybe a lot of that doesn't get communicated, or more importantly, it's not going to be a delighter for the customer. It might cause friction for the customer. You got to raise your hand. So if everyone's treated equally and everyone has an equal voice, the voice of the customer, the voice of the employee. If all employees are equal, they should be able to raise the hand as if they own this business, to say, this is a point of failure. This will cause friction. And you can measure these things. Like you would do surveying of your customers. Feedback's a gift. how many people are using a net promoter score, NPS, net promoter score, Google it. That asks the question, how likely are you to refer us to someone else? If someone likes it so much, they're going to tell someone else. And you measure your net promoter score. Forget anyone else's. I don't care what FedEx is or UPS or other companies, Procter & Gamble. What's yours? And then measure it against yourself. Every month, do 1/12 of your customers surveys. Are they on a happy path? Is your net promoter score going up? Is it going down? Is it staying flat? And you could go and say, okay, it went down. What happened? Well, we launched something new, or we raised our prices, or we didn't communicate.
Right.
We didn't communicate things we were doing. We just did them. It's really, really important to weave that into the culture, that everyone can speak up. And so once you do that, then you'll find that a lot of the things that will get your customers off that happy path will go away.
That was a good question, Ken. I'm taking notes.
What else you got, Ken? These are good.
And I've got tons of questions, man.
Listen, you better start them questions. You better start.
Both of you have great questions.
Camilita's gonna be like, I have no idea why I invited Ken to come in here and it's not his time.
I pray and I'm like, God, take over, carry on. I'm listening. I'm learning.
So she's now called you God, Ken. So
I prayed. I said I prayed.
She's talking about Jesus. She ain't talking about me. She's definitely. I did pastor 12 out of the last 25 years, but I'm not there anymore. So
He did.
no pressure.
So Alec, with you, what like when you, I know you said you like the target audience, you have a passion for them, but like you sold Constant Contact for, I mean, come on now, that's a lot of money, right? Like how long?
I didn't sell Constant Contact.
Yeah, remember he said it's we.
We. So that's exactly right. Yes, correct. Thank you for correcting me. What drove you out of bed after that to go? Like, I want to go do this again.
I put a bet in a Lamborghini.
Let's put a figure in there, Ken. 1.1 billion with a B.
Billion.
Yeah. So I stayed on for a year and a half to make sure it was a smooth transition. A lot of our tenure of our employees was incredible, and I wanted to make sure everyone felt that there was a soft landing for everybody as best we could, and then also just be there to advise as needed, and I didn't really have to do a lot, quite frankly, after we sold, but that we were an overnight success in 18 years. So year 10 we went public, and year 18 we sold, and so I there are a few times that I was wanted to leave to just really just have the time to go do a lot more. I was doing some stuff as best I could, and then toward the end I was really getting out and speaking and telling the early days story and founding stuff, and so I did for many, 17 of the years or whatever it was. I was doing a lot of thought leadership and speaking at all the conferences around the world, of all the different industries and what have you. But telling telling more of the founding story, and I was having a lot of fun with that. I wanted to do more of it, and so I also had a lot of ideas, that were sort of pent up that I wanted to do more with. And we started in the last 4 years or so. I started an innovation think tank with 2 other gentlemen, and now we have a team of 8, and we're launching several companies. We've had 4 we've launched up there. We sold 1. We have 3 more, and these are consumer, B2B, and medical device products. And so we're just disrupting billion-dollar markets that have been asleep at the wheel, quite frankly. I can show you one. I'll show you one product. So if you look at this, it's just your standard walking cane, right? But we patented concealing a grabber inside.
Wow.
So now you have your independence, convenience, and mobility when you leave a room that doesn't have a grasper with you, or you leave the home. My mom's a great example where she went out to her car. She had double knee replacement. She went out to her car. She dropped her keys. She didn't. Her phone was dead as usual, and so she couldn't call anyone, and she didn't want to leave the keys there next to the car. So she waited 20 minutes till she could flag someone down and pick the keys up for her. So of course now she loves to drop her keys and pick them up, and everyone's like, "Whoa, what, there's a grasper concealed inside a cane that we
I
patented.
thought that was a shotgun for a minute. I didn't know exactly what you had there, man.
Well, many have said we should turn
You're giving him more ideas. Yeah.
turn it into a shotgun, right?
Guys,
So-
keep your questions coming.
So
Keep
the
your questions
king-
coming Kali, hold on. Keep your questions coming to Alec, please. This is so good, guys. And post out on social media. I've given you, and I'm going to post again his Instagram handle. Alec, if people need to reach you, like, tell us how they can reach you. If they want to work with you, because like Ken and I are blown away. Like, I know everybody else is blown away. How can they reach you? Post it in there and tell everybody, to panelists and attendees, to reach out to you today. Virginia, she's in Indiana. I think she's in Indiana. She wants to talk to you. And Polly, she's in the UK. Anita, she's an investor here in the UK. She wants to talk to you as well. So tell us how they can reach you. And guys, go and do it now. That's his website. Go to AlecSpeaks.com right now and send him a message. How many of you are going to go there right now? Comment and tell me you're going there right now. And how many of you love this information? Like, this is gold. Seriously, and it's free. Last free one. Do it now. Alex, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. So when you go to AlecSpeaks.com, there's the link to all my social channels, and you can find me everywhere. It's just easier than listing them all. Yeah, so when I just showed you the Reacher Grasper cane, the cane market, it just, everyone sees that aluminum cane with the gray handle, the gray bottom, it's adjustable cane that the majority of the people get, when they're, recovering from an injury or surgery. And, of course, the age and those that just have trouble reaching things. Like now they don't have to hesitate to go to the supermarket or what have you. And so we disrupted, this multi-billion-dollar market by taking two products that most people need, but won't always carry them. You're not going to leave the home with both a grabber, grasper, and a cane. So now we said, let's just put them together. Kind of the Reese's peanut butter cup of the chocolate and the peanut butter.
Well, Donna, she's in the UK. She runs a couple of care homes. She's asking, do you need an affiliate marketer?
Yeah, I mean, depending on, I've got so many things that we're working on, so I don't know specifically.
To sell that particular product because of what she does.
Yeah, so we're on Amazon and we're on we have a bunch of partnerships so far. I mean, she can reach out and we can talk about it. But we have some folks in the UK that are marketing it today. I don't know where she is specifically.
She's in the UK as well. She's in the UK.
Yeah. So yeah, we're always open to chatting about it.
Excellent. So sorry, Ken, go ahead.
Oh no, I didn't have anything. No,
You're asking all the amazing.
Man, I'm listening and taking great notes. I tell you what, I would love, Alex. What's the net promoter score? Like, I'm sitting here looking at it right now. Talk about what would be a good way for a medium-sized business. Let's say a business is at $1 million to $5 million a year. What's a good way for them to implement a process for the net promoter score?
Yeah, so the net promoter score really is for everyone. And if you look at it, you Google it and you look it up, it's a question that you ask, and that could be formal or informal. So let's say formal, you would do it in a survey. How likely are you to refer us to someone else? And it coaches you to, from the 1 to 10. And then there's a quick calculation to get the detractors out, and then it'll give you your score. It takes no time. It's just number of, you get all the folks that respond, and it's a quick calculation to come up with your net promoter score for your business. And then you just want to keep testing and asking the question. Now you can do it informally on a scale of 1 to 10. How likely are you to refer our business to someone else? And someone will tell you, I don't know, 6, 8, whatever. And you just take the informal numbers. We got 5 6s, we got 9 8s, we got whatever. You can just do the quick calculation. And so it's just a helpful guide. It's one of feedback's a gift, as I said, and just checking in with your customers to just you have someone's a suspect, they don't know you yet. Then they become a prospect, they know you. Then they become a customer, they become a repeat customer, they become a fan, they become a raving fan. They kind of move through this continuum. And it's the ones that the repeat customer and above are usually the ones that will love you enough to want to tell someone else. We're all connectors, and in some, I don't know if you're like me. For example, if I had an electrician come to the house today, within the next 3 days, there's some conversation where I'm weaving in to talk about an electrician. right? It weaves into a comment like, oh, I have a great electrician, let me refer you. So, or, you know, sometimes we're hesitant to recommend a restaurant. Someone will say, well, where should we go eat tonight? I'm like, or where should we go? Give me a name of a restaurant we're going to go this week. I'm like, there's so many questions you got to ask, you know, like, you know, what day of the week, right? Because sometimes the chef doesn't maybe work Mondays and Tuesdays. You know, the sous chef and others pick up for them so they can have a couple nights off. So you'd say, okay, maybe not those nights. Friday and Saturday, jamming, you know, and so they're going to put their best foot forward for some nail that, some don't. So, you know, sometimes we want to qualify instead of saying, oh, go here or go there. So I'll ask a few qualifying questions and then I'll make a recommendation. But I'm always one to want to refer and connect and, you know, offer that up. And a lot of us do that. And so if you can move your customers to the fan and raving fan category, then now you have gold, because everyone wants new prospects. Yeah. We need net new customers. Your best prospect is your current customer because of their sphere of influence, trusted resource to tell others about you. So most of the time we leave our customers alone. Oh, they're in-house, we'll leave them alone. We're going to go get net new. And then they fall off of a happy path. You're not showing love, you're not staying in front of them, but you have to understand they're your best prospect. And so we forget that. We go to try to get net new. We spend money trying to find these new people, and your current customers, they're probably right in their kind of their sphere of influence.
I remember a stat that I had several years ago, and it's 400% easier to get a repeat customer than it is a new customer.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yet how many of us spend the time doing what Alec just said, because it feels like we're slowing down, I guess, Alec, would that be the right verbiage? It's like, well, this isn't getting us anywhere. We want to do the new, we want to advertise here, we want to spend this money on marketing.
How do you deal with that, Alec? Tell us, because that's I mean, what Ken is saying is it's real. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, so I agree with the concept to test and possibly invest in testing new things to see if there's pockets of opportunity for you elsewhere. But you've got to really rely on what you're doing with your current customers to move them up that continuum from customer to repeat customer to fan to raving fan. And so that's critical for, you know, for your growth going forward, you know, because of the role that they play. Yeah. So the other thing that ties into all of this, there's a couple of stats that everyone must know these stats. What's your cost of acquisition of a new customer? No one knows that, for the most part. There's offline and online things you're doing. Measure them, you know, quantify them. For example, you might be a service-based business and you're going to talk to somebody 3 times, you know, an hour each time, 3 hours. What is your time worth an hour? $100. So $300 cost of acquisition before they'll consider converting, and then they convert. You know, you're a gallery, right? So I walk into the gallery first time, I'm browsing around. You know, can we help you with anything? No, I'm good. Going a second time, going a third time, maybe call for half an hour, $100 an hour. So now I have 3 visits and a call, $350 cost of acquisition. You need to know that, and you need to have your staff know that. If you don't tell your staff and they see me coming in a second time or a third time, they're like, tire kicker. Like he's wasting time just walking around. But if they knew, look, it takes 3 visits and a call potentially to close them, then like, oh, he's back a second time. We're getting closer. Let's, you know, so
who is doing that in the business? Whose role it is to really find that?
Well, so whoever's in charge, you know, someone has in operations or someone who's running the business, you've got to quantify your investment in time. Like a lot of times they're like, oh my God, I'm just in meetings all day, meeting with prospective people. And then say, well, how many meetings does it take before you close them? I don't know, but I'm just spending a lot of time. Like you just have to quantify offline and online, you know, formal and informal ways that you're investing your time for cost of acquisition. The second stat that goes with that is lifetime value. So if somebody's a customer with you, they buy once, or you know, that's a short lifetime value. Yeah. But as Ken said, if you move them to repeat buying, right now they're going to buy, you know, so much a year over so many years. You need to know these stats, right? So what are you willing to spend to get the next customer? If you know it's 3.5 hours or $350, would you take the $350 and invest in some other marketing methods, you know, online, pay-per-click display, retargeting, what have you, to potentially try to drive new people in, because you know where you're willing to spend to get that next customer. And most people ask them, what's your cost of acquisition? No idea. We spend this on marketing over here. How many convert? And which of the things you're doing are causing the conversion? What day, what time, and then you can narrow down like when you should be spending that money.
Alec, let me ask you a question. Why do you think most companies don't do what you just said? Do you think it's a lack of knowledge? Do you think it's a lack of them not being in the rooms to hear what you're saying?
Or just they're not thinking about it, right? They're just, I think it's, they're on the hamster wheel in the business.
Right. Sense of urgency. I've got to drive revenue. They don't even think
all day. I'm busy, leave me alone. I gotta do all this stuff, but not necessarily. I'm a numbers guy. I want metrics for everything, because the bottom line is everything you do, you have to say, how do you measure success, and what do you get out of this if you do it? What revenue will you see? Or like everything you're doing, fine if you're testing it and you don't know what you're going to get out of it, but most things you're doing, you should be able to measure, and we don't. And so if we look at a handful of these metrics in our business, it's just got to give us some guidance and some aha moments to like, where is someone in their buying journey with me? Like, forget anyone else's journey. Your journey? What's your journey, and how long does it take, and how much effort, and what are you willing to spend to get that next customer?
I mean, you're saying if we should, as a small business, because we all run small businesses here, doing 5-10 million is still a small business compared to somebody else. You're saying to Marsh Breaks, take the time to understand the metrics, understand what you're selling, understand who you're selling it to, understand that whole idea about that customer system, and targeting correctly instead of just throwing mud at the wall.
Yeah, and so some percent is fine to test, and then maybe invest. Like, I'm not saying stop all that other stuff.
Yeah.
You might find pockets of opportunity that you didn't have before, but it's important to evaluate kind of what success looks like, and where is it coming from, and what do your customers mean to you, and then back to the point of surveying them and just checking if they're on the happy path, and truly asking them the Net Promoter Score, and these things are just kind of give you some guidance. Like if your Net Promoter Score is like single digits, they're not interested in telling anyone about you. Well, that you got a problem, and you got to fix that. Like if your Net Promoter Score, is double digits, and again, you're measuring against yourself. If one month it's 18 and the next month it's 24 and it's going up, then you're doing something right. And again, you're surveying 1/12 maybe monthly or quarterly, 25% quarterly, and measuring against the other. And you're going to just see, are we going up, down, or staying flat? And that's just going to give you some guidance to where your customers are at.
I'm just saying, I've got a lot of work to do.
All right, well,
I don't know about you, but I'm just saying.
We're all here to help.
I'm just saying, Lewis says, in a year out of college, qualified in brand identity, how do I get clients through my business initially with no experience and a portfolio of fake rebrands and college projects? In other words, how do I, or should my expertise and knowledge without having a client list? How should I share?
Yeah, so I don't know if I would, I'm not sure about the term fake rebrands. That stood out. Listen, when you're starting out, there's a lot. So there are a lot of startups that don't have a big budget that all need branding. Like you could be teaming up and working with folks and building that, being sort of that client list, out of the gate. In the earliest businesses that I had, I was working, I didn't have credibility, but I had to earn it. I had to go land a client and land another client and say, can I use you as a reference, and find audiences that need you. Like you may not go get a rebrand of, a Fortune 5,000 company out of the gate, but could you get, folks that are, like all of your other go back to all of your other college graduates that you knew. Someone's starting a business. Can I help you with your branding? There's a lot of things. And in fact, I've hired in several instances someone who was new, like new in branding, right? So not going to charge an arm and a leg, but saw their creativity. You will be selected based on you have college projects to show them. They see some of your work, of what you're able to do and say, this is in line with, I'd love something like this. So you've got to get yourself out there, build a website, put some of the work you've done so far, get a quote or two from even your professors, of how creative you are. And eventually you'll
go intern with Alec Stern in the summertime. That's exactly what you need to do. You need to say, what do I need to do with intern with a guy like you? That's exactly what I would do.
And the other thing too, by the way, you can be anonymous and level the playing field. There's a lot of tools, like for example, branding. If you want to do logos, then you can logo tournament is one of my favorites. There's all kinds of there's 99 Designs and all these other ones where you can put yourself up there and people can contract with you to help them with branding. But logo tournament, everyone's equal, and you say, I want to bid, everyone describes what they're looking for. And here's the kind of the voice of the customer and our colors and the feel and this, that, and then someone can, everyone can go submit in. And if they like your work, you become a finalist and you could win the business. So you could do some of those kinds of things without having a big portfolio.
My God, isn't this guy good, Ken? My God. Genius, man. Look, and for all of you that we're going to close off with Alec now, because Alec has been talking for over an hour. So we need to let him go and rest. And we got Ken straight after. So Ken's staying with us.